Welcome to another episode of the Smithsonians. It is another time for thoughts from RJ the Beast. Now, I've been sitting here thinking about some things, thinking about parenting and being a father and things like that. And I want to talk about some things about parenting. Parenting can be real hard. As a parent, you've got to understand your kids. You got to understand your kids' surroundings, who's with them all the time, why are they acting certain ways that they're acting. And being a parent can cause anxiety. And a lot of us really focus on trying to be the best parent we can be. And in doing that, we forget to focus on ourselves. If you already have anxiety that you're dealing with and you don't know how to deal with that anxiety as it is, being a parent can bring on even higher issues with anxiety. But a lot of times as a parent, you want to know everything your kid is doing. I mean, where you're going, who you're with, what time are you going to be home, things like that. But in reality, I think a biggest issue with being a parent is the whole don't ask, don't tell motto. The don't ask, don't tell motto really doesn't get you the information you need to have. If your kids are going out and you don't ask questions like, hey, where are you going? What time are you going to be home? Who's going to be there? Who's driving? Depending on what age the children are. If you don't ask questions like that, then sometimes what they don't tell you is the things you need to know. So we got to be careful. Plus, thing that I struggle with and the things that I deal with is baggage. Back when I was a kid, I dealt with some things too that a lot of kids nowadays probably don't even know the half of how to deal with. But, we carry that things with us as parents. We carry those things with us as adults into our parenthood, where we've got to now raise these little young people that are just like us. And we got to realize that, we can't look at them like they're part of the past. We can't look at them like they're part of the issues we're dealing with now as adults. So we got to remember that our baggage weighs real heavy on these young people. And we got to realize that if we react to them like we would to the people in our past, then, we're actually pushing our kids away. We're not really developing the relationships that are needed to be a good parent, and I sit and I think about that all the time. and a lot of times, after something happens or something major happens, there's so many shoulda, wouldas that pop up in my head. Like, I should have done this different. I should have done that different. Or I would have had this thing, or I would have done this. But the thing is whatever decision you make, you've got to learn to live with as a parent. You got to learn to deal with those decisions because you decide to make them. Now, if the outcome of the decision you're making or the answer you're giving is not what you thought it would be, then we know for next time. And that's called a learning curve. Another thing we got to realize is our little kids, our babies, our children, our teens, you got to remember they can be crazy at times. And a lot of times their craziness that we see is because they're acting just like us. My mother used to tell me, up until the day I lost her in this world, my mother used to tell me, you're going to have kids, or your kids are going to act like you one day, and you're going to see. And I was a little hellion as a kid. I was somebody that really didn't do a lot of good things. I mean, I was hateful. I held grudges against my mother just because of the things I dealt with. And I felt like sometimes she might not have been there for me, which in reality, she was there for me all the time. But we got to remember that kids can be crazy, and that craziness that we see and that insane behavior that we take as being crazy really is the same behaviors that we shown when we were young. And that's what I want everybody to understand. Another thing about, parents is, a lot of times when our kids react to certain things and they do certain things, or they say things that are hateful to us, like, I hate you, or I don't love you, or things like that, which I've been fortunate enough to where I have not heard that from my kids. But we tend as adults to hold grudges against even our own kids. And I've never understood that, because a child does say things sometimes that will hurt you. And I've said a lot of things in my life that are very painful to somebody else. But the thing is I was a kid. I was a child. And a lot of things people say, well, they're unforgivable. Well, here's the thing. I'm not a perfect parent. I'm not a perfect parent. I wasn't a perfect son. I did things that I probably shouldn't have done. But what you guys got to remember is we cannot hold grudges against our own kids. We cannot tell them that we don't forgive them, or we don't love them, or we don't want to talk to them, or we don't want to be around them. We can't say things like that to our kids, because our kids will take it personal. And when your kids take stuff like that personal, it's almost like you're damaging them deeper than just external or short term. It's long-term damage. and it can create trauma within a young person. And I know that. Another thing too is we discipline our kids in different ways, and we do things in different ways. And we got to realize that everybody is watching us when we're doing these things. Everybody is there, seeing what we're doing. And a lot of times we don't do the correct thing because we're worried about what other people around us are viewing us as a parent. Well, the thing is, from the minute you become a parent, something happens inside of you. Something triggers inside of you. It changes you. It makes you feel like you have this entity that you have to be better for. Part of being a better person is understanding that you have to discipline. You have to change direction of a mind. You have to change the mindset from being negative to positive. And sometimes by doing that, we worry that somebody around us is going to view something that we're doing as not being right. But who told them that they're 100% right all the time? Who told these people that are judging us as parents that we're doing something that they need to not be doing? I mean, the thing is, we're gonna discipline, we're gonna redirect, and we're gonna change mindset. How we change mindset as a parent, okay? How we know. And a lot of times, if we fail, then we've got to fail. We've got to know we're failing, because other people around us can't tell me I'm failing, because there we go with that, the anger and the selflessness and the thinking more along the lines of, oh, you can't tell me how to be a parent. Well, look, I have to fail for myself as a parent. If I'm going to fail, I have to fail for myself. I have to know that what I'm doing is wrong from a thing that I've done that didn't succeed. And then and only then will I realize that something needs to change in the way I handle my kids. Another thing we need to realize as parents, and it took me a long time to realize this, is I'm not alone. I'm not alone in parenting. I'm not alone in the bad decisions that I've made. I'm not alone in the consequences that I've given. See, we all have done things where we start regretting what we've done. And we all have done things growing up in our lives that might not be the best choices we make. But that's why we are the way we are with our kids, is we want them to do better and be better than what we were when we were kids. And, we have to realize we need our kids. As parents, we need our kids. Our kids are really what keeps us driving, what keeps us moving forward, what keeps us really sane from a crazy world, and you can't run away as a parent. You can't run away as a parent. If you run away as a parent, then you're really no longer a parent. We've got to stand our ground. We've got to be the parent through the good, through the bad, through the ugly times. And a lot of times those times will come back around if you're focused on doing what you need to do. Stakes are high. That whatever decisions you make, you've got little eyes and ears watching and listening to you, and understanding that we've got to have an understanding, I should say, that we're going to make mistakes, and they might see those mistakes, because young people are very, very intelligent, and they will see mistakes and do things that we sometimes won't realize that they're saying or doing. But it's hard. It's hard as a parent to understand that our kids are very, very attentive, and they see things every day that we're doing, and they hear things that we're saying. And that's why what you say and what you do around your kids are so important. When we started this page, we started it as a daddy-son thing, and we've added my other kids into it and friends into it and all these other people, because here's the deal. That's what my son likes. That's what my son wants. DJ the kid is very dedicated to doing these kind of videos, and I'm very dedicated to him. And that's why I take time out of my day to go in and we do things. And I love doing things like this. And it even makes it even more fun to do it when I'm with my son. Because as a parent, you realize that things that you enjoy, like recording these videos and doing things like that, become 10 times more fun when you have your child with you. It just really does. And that's why we decided, no matter what, we're going to keep doing this, keep recording videos, keep posting them. Let's see if people like what we talk about, and every once in a while I'll pop on here and I'll do a thoughts from RJ the Beast, just like I'm doing right now, about parenting. But I will tell you one thing, if it wasn't for me being a father, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today, being able to record these videos, doing these things that I love to do for you guys, and to talk to you about what I feel. if it wasn't for me being a father. So, I appreciate you guys for watching. Please like our page, subscribe to the channel, and leave us a comment. Maybe leave me a comment personally. Tell me what you want to hear, because I know a lot and I like to speak a lot. So until next time, it's RJ the Beast. I'll be on with DJ the Kid here after a while, and peace.